Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we delve into How Not to Diet by Michael Greger, Maryland, a groundbreaking exploration of the science behind effective, healthy, and sustainable weight loss. This book stands out in the crowded field of nutrition and dieting by emphatically rejecting quick fixes and fad diets, instead offering a rigorous, science-based approach to weight loss that focuses on a plant-based diet. Dr. Greger, an American physician, author, and public health advocate, is not new to the bestseller lists, with titles such as How Not to Die and the How Not to Die cookbook under his belt. His commitment to providing trustworthy information is evident in his decision to donate all profits from his books and speaking engagements to charity, as well as in his management of nutritionfacts.org, a free-to-access website laden with nutritional information. How Not to Diet is more than just a guide. It's a deep dive into the reasons behind the global rise in obesity and offers a clear, detailed strategy for combating it. Greger's book is essential reading for anyone who has struggled with conventional diets, those seeking to live a longer, healthier life, and especially dieters in search of an evidence-based approach to weight loss. Join us as we unpack the wisdom and research that makes How Not to Diet a vital resource for anyone looking to make informed, healthy choices in their dietary habits. How Not to Diet: The Groundbreaking Science of Healthy Permanent Weight Loss. Introduction. Unveil the secrets to sustainable weight loss with nature's diet. Embarking on the journey of dieting can feel like navigating a complex labyrinth with endless paths and dead ends. From the temptations of low-carb diets to the allure of the Mediterranean feast, making a choice feels more overwhelming than picking a movie on a Friday night. But here's a thought that might cut through the confusion. What if the key to unlocking a healthier you isn't hidden in the latest dieting craze, but has been in plain sight all along? As the landscape of dieting grows more convoluted by the minute, the call for an evidence-based beacon has never been louder. The truth is, amidst the cacophony of dietary advice, there exists a simple, time-tested approach to eating that doesn't ask for radical lifestyle changes or unrealistic restrictions on your plate. Dive into a narrative that transcends the fad diets and radical regimes to spotlight a diet that our ancestors thrived on, long before the invasion of processed, sugar-laden, and fatty foods became the norm. The modern diet, a stark departure from what humans have consumed for millennia, is precisely what has navigated us into the stormy waters of weight gain and ill health. The answer, surprisingly, lies in returning to the fundamentals of the normal human diet, a path less traveled in our quest for health and wellness. In this exploration, discover the understated power of fiber, not just as a nutrient, but as a natural calorie counter that can play a pivotal role in managing your weight. Understand why obesity, rather than being a failure of willpower, is a natural response to an abnormal environment, laden with unhealthy dietary options. One of the most significant revelations you'll encounter is the humble bean. Far from being a mere side dish, beans emerge as a mighty ally in the battle against overeating, proving that sometimes the simplest foods hold the keys to profound health benefits. As we peel back the layers of dietary misconceptions, what emerges is a clear, undiluted truth. The secret to sustainable, healthy, and permanent weight loss isn't found in depriving yourself, but in embracing the wholesome, nutrient-rich diet that sustained generations before us. Welcome to a journey back to the basics, where the path to a healthier you is paved not with restrictions, but with a celebration of natural, nourishing foods. Part 1. The surprisingly natural response to our unnatural diet, a glimpse into obesity's origins. Imagine stepping back in time, a century or so. The landscape of physical health is strikingly different, with only about 1 in 30 people tipping the scales into obesity. Fast forward to today, and the scene has drastically changed. In the United States alone, an astonishing 71% of adults are considered overweight, with obesity rates soaring to 40%. It prompts a nagging question: what on earth happened? Unpacking the obesity epidemic requires us to venture far beyond the last 100 years into the very fabric of human evolution. Here lies a crucial realization. Obesity isn't a failure of individual willpower, but a rational, expected response to an extraordinary shift in our dietary environment. At the heart of this discussion is a simple truth: our bodies were sculpted by the hands of evolution to seek out and consume calories. For the vast majority of human history, food wasn't a given. It was a prize, won through the relentless pursuit across the wild. Stumbling upon calorie-dense foods wasn't just a stroke of luck, it was a survival strategy. Our ancestors knew the value of a high-calorie find, enabling them to conserve energy and spend time on other essential tasks, like brainstorming the next big hit in cave art. Fast forward to the present, and it's clear the tables have turned. No longer do we scour the land for our next meal. Instead, we are besieged by an abundance of food choices, many of which pack an astronomical calorie punch, far beyond the humble banana or potato that were once considered calorie-rich. So, what do our bodies do in the face of such abundance? Exactly what they've been programmed to do by millennia of evolution: store energy in the form of fat. This natural inclination towards calorie-dense foods has not waned. If anything, it's compounded by the modern smorgasbord of chocolates, cheeses, and processed delights that outstrip the caloric density of anything found in nature. But this isn't about pointing fingers at personal choices. Instead, it's recognizing a fundamental mismatch between our biological hardwiring and the world we've constructed around us. A world where calories are not just abundant, but overwhelmingly excessive. The staggering statistics of obesity and overweight individuals are not indicators of a societal collapse in self-control, but rather a testament to our bodies' unyielding adherence to ancient survival instincts. In a world where excess has become the norm, our natural responses have painted us into a corner, with health implications that are anything but natural. As we contemplate the road ahead, let's remember, the issue at hand isn't merely about individual choices. It's about understanding and addressing the deep-seated evolutionary triggers that propel us into the arms of excess calories. Part 2. A tipping point in time. The caloric surge and its consequences. In a retrospective glance over the past century, one can't help but notice the alarming spike in obesity rates, particularly from the 1970s onwards. This phenomenon isn't isolated to just the United States, but is a pattern echoed across affluent nations globally. So, what catalyzed this sudden surge in obesity figures during that decade? It's tempting for the behemoths of the food and beverage industry to point fingers at sedentary lifestyles, suggesting a collective lapse in physical activity as the culprit. However, this notion is quickly dispelled when considering the extensive body of scientific evidence indicating that our caloric consumption plays a much more significant role in the obesity crisis than does our activity level. Diving into this conundrum reveals a pivotal shift in the 1970s, the transformation of the food industry and its profound impact on our daily calorie intake. Historically, meal preparation was predominantly a home-based affair. However, the technological strides in food manufacturing, preservation, and packaging during the 1970s marked the dawn of a new era. This revolution paved the way for mass production of ready-to-eat meals, epitomized by the ubiquitous presence of convenience foods like the Twinkie. Such products, requiring minimal effort to procure and consume, became staples, significantly altering our dietary landscape. The essence of this shift can be encapsulated in an acronym: CRAP, standing for calorie-rich and processed foods. As food companies ramped up the production of these high-calorie options, we found ourselves ensnared in a vicious cycle of overconsumption, with the scales tipping ever further. By the onset of the 21st century, the United States found itself in a superabundance of calories, producing an astounding 3,900 calories daily per capita. This caloric deluge is not matched by an equivalent demand for healthier, less processed options like canned beans or tomato paste, which offer thin margins to producers. In stark contrast, the processed food sector, spearheaded by giants like Frito-Lay, reaps substantial profits, contributing significantly to supermarket earnings with a lucrative margin. In this context, it becomes evident that the roots of the obesity epidemic are far from complex. They are embedded in the pervasive availability and consumption of crap. The staggering rise in average daily calorie intake, an additional 500 calories, mirrors the weight gain trends observed across populations. As we stand at this critical juncture, acknowledging the primary role of our food environment in shaping health outcomes, the challenge ahead is clear. It's imperative to address and counter the dietary shifts that have, over decades, quietly contributed to a public health crisis of epic proportions. Part 3. The Unsung Hero of Weight Loss, the Power of Fiber. In the vast ocean of weight loss strategies and diets, it can be daunting to find a beacon of reliable, scientifically backed guidance. Amidst a market saturated with fleeting trends and miraculous promises, one humble hero emerges with the potential to revolutionize our approach to shedding pounds: fiber. Why is fiber so instrumental in a weight loss regimen, you ask? It may not have the most glamorous reputation, often sidelined as merely a digestive aid, but fiber's role in promoting weight loss is both significant and scientifically validated. First off, fiber brings to the table something quite remarkable. It helps reduce overall calorie consumption. This effect can be vividly illustrated by comparing the consumption of fiber-rich foods with their processed counterparts. Take, for instance, the difference between drinking a bottle of apple juice and consuming the same caloric equivalent in whole apple slices. The absence of fiber in the juice allows us to consume it without feeling particularly full, but the fiber in whole apples contributes to a feeling of satiety, thereby naturally limiting our calorie intake. Moreover, fiber acts as an ingenious calorie filter. It has the ability to trap and thus reduce the number of calories our bodies absorb. This phenomenon is exemplified by a simple experiment with white bread versus whole wheat bread. Participants who consumed the whole wheat bread, rich in fiber, were found to excrete more fat compared to those who consumed white bread. This is evidence of fiber's capacity to bind with some of the calories we consume, preventing their full absorption into our system. In essence, incorporating fiber into our diet works as an effective calorie discounting mechanism. By simply achieving the recommended daily intake of fiber, one can effortlessly cut down on calorie absorption. This strategy is particularly potent for preventing the gradual weight increase that often accompanies middle age. So, where can this marvelous nutrient be found? Although root vegetables are commendable sources of fiber, the real champions are found among legumes and whole grains. Beans, chickpeas, and lentils are not only versatile culinary ingredients, but also powerful allies in the quest for weight loss. The revelation that fiber-rich foods play such a pivotal role in weight management underscores the importance of basing our dietary choices on solid, scientific evidence. In doing so, we can navigate the crowded and often misleading landscape of weight loss advice, securing not just temporary solutions, but sustainable health improvements. Part 4. Unlocking weight loss with a low glycemic load diet. Have you ever pondered over the peculiar fact that white bread and pasta, despite being made from nearly identical ingredients, exert vastly different effects on our bodies? The mystery unfolds as we explore their impact on our blood sugar levels. It turns out bread induces a surge in blood sugar twice as mighty as that triggered by pasta. This disparity owes itself to the structure of bread, riddled with tiny air pockets that render its starch more readily accessible and swiftly convertible to sugar in our digestive tract. Pasta, with its denser composition, doesn't surrender its starches as easily. This intriguing digestive dynamic offers a first-hand lesson in how differently our bodies process carbohydrates. The evidence is as simple as tasting the transformation of bread's flavor into sweetness as you chew, a testament to starches turning to sugars right in your mouth, a phenomenon not as promptly replicated with pasta. This brings us to an essential insight. The pace at which carbohydrates are digested and morphed into sugars is of significant consequence, particularly when considering the role of glycemic load in our diet. Adopting a diet with a low glycemic load stands as a vital strategy for those aiming to shed weight. Why does this matter? Foods with a high glycemic load are notorious for igniting cravings shortly after consumption. Consider an eye-opening experiment where children were given breakfast cereals with varying glycemic loads. Those who indulged in a high glycemic load cereal found themselves hungrier and consumed more at lunch than their peers who started their day with oatmeal, a cereal with a low glycemic load. The critical takeaway here is that avoiding high glycemic foods could be the key to curbing cravings and inadvertent overeating later in the day. But the benefits of a low glycemic diet stretch beyond appetite control. Ever encountered a frustrating weight loss plateau a few months into a diet? Among the culprits is your body's instinctive response to fat loss, a reduction in metabolic rate to conserve resources. Interestingly, low glycemic foods can help mitigate this metabolic deceleration. Research indicates that individuals on a high glycemic diet faced a more substantial slowdown in their metabolic rate compared to those on a low glycemic diet, to the tune of 80 calories, equivalent to what one might burn walking a mile. So, which foods should you sidestep to embark on this low glycemic journey? The list of high glycemic culprits includes processed carbohydrates such as cornflakes, white rice, potatoes, and white bread. Instead, turn your gaze and your plate towards legumes, fruits, and non-starchy vegetables. By making these mindful choices, you can steer clear of the unwanted peaks and valleys in your blood sugar and navigate a smoother path towards your weight loss goals. Part 5. Reimagining low-fat diets. Less is more than you think. In the ever-evolving narrative of diet and weight loss, fat often finds itself cast as the misunderstood villain. With the pendulum of public opinion swinging towards carbohydrates as the primary culprit behind the obesity epidemic, fat seems to have been granted an implicit pardon. This shift in blame is anchored in the belief that reducing fat intake has inadvertently encouraged a dependence on sugary carbs. However, this framing oversimplifies the issue and misses a crucial piece of the puzzle. Here's the essence of the matter. A genuinely low-fat diet holds significant promise for those seeking weight loss, but achieving such a diet requires embracing far less fat than the current discourse suggests. The stark reality is that fat is by its very nature predisposed to be stored as body fat with unparalleled ease compared to other macronutrients. While the body can indeed transform carbohydrates into fat, this process is inherently inefficient, consuming a notable portion of the calories in the process. Thus, for individuals targeting fat loss, incorporating a low-fat diet isn't just advisable, it's essential. So why does skepticism persist around low-fat diets? A significant factor is a widespread misunderstanding of what low-fat genuinely entails. The diet industry's portrayal of low-fat options often doesn't align with the stringent standards of an authentically low-fat diet. Consider the case of today's extra-lean ground beef, which boasts nearly 30% fat, a far cry from the lean meats consumed by our ancestors. Historically, the human diet derived a mere 10% of its calories from fat, a benchmark that modern eating habits have drifted far from. Dr. Dean Ornish's landmark study offers compelling evidence of the efficacy of truly low-fat diets. By restricting fat intake to an astonishing 6% within a whole plant food diet, participants experienced remarkable weight loss, shedding an average of 24 pounds over the course of a year. Embarking on a low-fat journey necessitates a shift in dietary habits, notably reducing intake of all but the leanest meats and curtailing the use of added oils. For those daunted by the prospect of oil-free cooking, consider alternative methods such as sautéing with wine, sherry, vinegar, or broth. This approach not only reduces fat content, but also introduces a new dimension of flavor to dishes. As we navigate the complex landscape of diet and health, it's clear that redefining our understanding of low-fat diets is pivotal. Embracing a truly low-fat diet, one that harks back to the dietary habits of our predecessors, may indeed unlock the door to effective and sustainable weight loss. Part 6. The Sweet Truth. Cutting added sugar is key to weight loss. In a world where surplus calories shadow the average American diet, a striking correlation emerges between the excess calories we consume and our collective sweet tooth. On average, Americans devour an extra 350, 500 calories daily, coincidentally mirroring the number of calories obtained from added sugars. This realization brings us to a pivotal understanding. Drastically reducing added sugar intake is indispensable for those looking to shed excess weight. The relationship between sugar consumption and weight gain is undeniable. As sugar intake climbs, so too does our overall calorie consumption, propelling weight gain into an all-too-familiar reality. This escalation in sugar consumption is not a minor uptick, but a major leap from historical norms. To put it in perspective, the annual sugar intake per person has rocketed from 4 pounds at the time of the War of Independence to a staggering 50 pounds today. This modern-day indulgence translates to 17 teaspoons of added sugar consumed daily. Yet, the stark reality stands. We do not require added sugars in our diet. Despite recommendations from the U.S., dietary guidelines suggesting a cap of 10% of our daily calories from added sugars, a limit decried as extremely low by the Sugar Association. The truth is that this figure might still be overly generous. Our bodies have no nutritional need for added sugars, making their prevalence in our diet more a matter of habit than necessity. Sugar's detrimental impact stretches beyond its calorie content. It fuels an increase in our appetite, making us prone to consume even more. The food industry may argue that a calorie is a calorie, regardless of its source. However, reality paints a different picture, illustrating that high-sugar foods push us to consume significantly more than their lower-sugar counterparts. For instance, children presented with high-sugar breakfast cereals tend to eat 77% more than when offered lower-sugar alternatives. The limitation on the amount of minimally sweetened foods one can eat does not seem to apply to their sugary counterparts. To combat this, a stringent limit on daily added sugar intake is necessary, ideally capping it at no more than 5% of our daily calorie intake. Surpassing this threshold is all too easy with just a single soft drink, highlighting the urgency of reevaluating our dietary habits. The silver lining in this sugar-laden cloud is the adaptability of our taste preferences. Research shows that abstaining from added sugars for a mere 2 weeks can significantly diminish cravings for sweetness, with formerly favored artificially sweetened products suddenly seeming overly saccharine. While the prospect of a sugar-free life might initially daunt, a 2-week reset can profoundly alter one's palate and potentially pave the way for a lifetime of healthier choices. In the journey to weight loss and improved health, severing ties with added sugars may just be the most transformative step one can take. Part 7. Revolutionize your diet by focusing on calorie density, not just portion size. Imagine experiencing the bliss of enjoying a plentiful plate of pasta without the guilt of excessive calorie intake. The secret? It's not about reducing the portion, but transforming the calorie landscape of your meal. Opting for a sauce rich in tomatoes and broccoli instead of heavy cream and cheese can slash your calorie intake by a surprising 1/3. This shifts the focus from traditionally restrictive diets to a more fulfilling strategy, reducing calorie density. The cornerstone of weight management is not solely about downsizing the amount you eat, but about selecting foods that offer you more volume with fewer calories. Scientific research offers strong and consistent evidence pointing towards the weight gain associated with high calorie density diets. The rationale behind this is quite intuitive. Humans generally consume a consistent volume of food daily. Our stomachs, equipped with stretch receptors, signal fullness based on the volume of food rather than its calorie content. Consider the paradox of filling up on ice cream versus strawberries. The ice cream might reach your daily calorie limit in one sitting, but it hardly satisfies the stomach's demand for volume, leaving you craving more. On the flip side, matching the calorie content of ice cream with strawberries would entail consuming an implausible volume of fruit. So, what's the strategy for tapering down calorie density in your diet? It begins with the conscious replacement of foods rich in added fats and sugars with an abundance of fruits and non-starchy vegetables. These alternatives are naturally high in water and air, making them light, voluminous, and satisfyingly low in calorie density. Some vegetables and fruits are so water-dominant that they amount to being calorie bargains in terms of satiety versus energy intake. The effectiveness of prioritizing low-calorie density foods is corroborated by a study from Brazil. Participants who supplemented their regular diet with 3 apples a day, in comparison to those who consumed oat cookies of equivalent calories, experienced weight loss. The apple group benefited from the satiating volume of the fruit, inadvertently reducing their total calorie intake. Conversely, the cookies, dense in calories, left ample room for additional eating, leading to no significant change in weight. Embarking on a diet mindful of calorie density encourages a paradigm shift. It's not about limiting your food intake to smaller portions, but indulging in a bounty of fruits and vegetables, knowing they'll nurture without the burden of weight gain. High-density foods like nuts, oil, and cheese should be consumed judiciously, not because they're inherently bad, but because they are concentrated sources of calories. By cultivating an awareness of calorie density, you empower yourself to make choices that satisfy both your hunger and your health objectives. Part 8. Discover the secret to longevity, the mighty legume. In the mosaic of factors contributing to the admirable longevity of Hispanic Americans, who live notably longer lives even in the face of lower socioeconomic status and healthcare access, one simple yet powerful dietary staple stands out: legumes. It's a curious observation that within this community, the incidences of premature death, cancer, and heart disease are markedly lower. Could the humble bean truly be behind this phenomenon? Legumes, encompassing a diverse group including beans, chickpeas, lentils, and split peas, stride across 2 essential dietary categories. They're a powerhouse of both protein and vegetables. This unique positioning allows them to offer the best of both worlds: the protein, iron, and zinc, typically sourced from meat, alongside the fiber and potassium predominant in vegetable foods. But legumes don't just stop at being nutrient-dense. They also wield a remarkable ability to satisfy hunger more effectively than many other foods. Consider this. In research comparing the satiety levels of chickpeas to white bread with butter, participants who opted for the chickpeas ended up consuming nearly 200 fewer calories in their subsequent meal. This appetite-curbing property isn't solely against easier opponents like bread, but also holds up when pitted against protein-rich meats. For instance, legume-based burgers such as those made from fava beans have shown to be more filling than their animal protein counterparts like veal and pork patties. The weight loss benefits linked to legumes are both significant and swift. Studies highlight instances where participants managed to shed inches from their waistline within months, merely by introducing legumes into their diet. This effect outpaces even the inclusion of whole grains, underscoring the unique advantages legumes bring to the table. Despite these compelling benefits, legumes are a conspicuously underutilized ingredient in the American diet, with a mere 8% regularly enjoying their advantages. The barriers? A mixture of unfamiliarity with their preparation and misconceptions regarding the ease of including them in meals. Yet, incorporating legumes into your diet need not be a daunting task. From the convenience of canned, pre-soaked options to the simplicity of cooking red lentils, a process that can be as straightforward as boiling them with water and adding a touch of lemon juice and herbs. Making legumes a staple in your kitchen is both accessible and incredibly rewarding. The evidence is clear. Legumes are not just a food item, they are a cornerstone for a healthier, longer life. As we navigate the abundance of dietary advice and trends, perhaps it's time to turn our attention to this unsung hero of nutrition and unlock the delicious, life-extending benefits it offers. Part 9. Embracing Plant Power, a time-tested path to weight loss. In the vast, tumultuous sea of dietary advice, distinguishing between fleeting trends and enduring principles can be a daunting task. Amid this ocean of options, one approach stands out not just for its efficacy but for its alignment with our biological heritage, the plant-based diet. Here lies a simple yet profound truth. Adopting a plant-based diet is a sustainable and proven way to achieve and maintain a healthy weight. The allure of quick-fix diets, particularly those that advocate for drastically cutting carbohydrates, can be strong. Indeed, research analyzing various dieting strategies has observed significant weight loss among individuals following low-carb diets. The logic seems straightforward enough. By eliminating major sources of calories such as refined grains and added sugars, weight loss seems inevitable. However, this approach comes with its own set of concerns. Evidence suggests that low-carb diets may adversely affect cardiovascular health, an issue not to be taken lightly considering heart disease's prominence as a leading cause of mortality globally. Moreover, why settle for eliminating only 2 of the 4 principal calorie contributors when an even more holistic approach beckons? The call to action is clear. Embrace the versatility and health benefits of a plant-based diet. Contrary to common misconceptions, going plant-based doesn't necessarily entail adopting a strictly vegan or vegetarian lifestyle. Rather, it's about significantly reducing meat, eggs, and dairy products while eschewing calorie-rich and processed crap foods in favor of a diet rich in vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains, spices, and herbs. One of the most liberating aspects of a plant-based diet is its leniency on quantity. Forget about the torturous rituals of starvation, meticulous portion control, or obsessive calorie counting. A plant-based diet invites you to eat abundantly, as long as the food aligns with nature's bounty, a principle that mirrors the dietary habits of our ancestors long before the advent of refined grains, mass-produced sweets, and prepackaged meals. This return to dietary basics isn't just a nostalgic trip into humankind's nutritional past. It's a scientifically supported pathway to a healthier life. For countless generations, plants formed the cornerstone of our diet, a fact that underscores their suitability for our bodies. In embracing a plant-based diet, you're not just choosing a method for weight loss, you're aligning with a sustainable, healthful lifestyle that honors our physiological design. As we continue to explore strategies for enhancing health and well-being, it's essential to remember that sometimes the most effective solutions are those that harken back to our roots, quite literally, in the case of plants. While transforming your diet is a pivotal step in the weight loss journey, it's part of a broader spectrum of lifestyle changes. Stay tuned for additional insights and tips to complement your plant-powered path to wellness. Part 10. Transform your weight loss journey with accountability and smart timing. When it comes to the crowded landscape of diet programs, one might wonder which path leads to the most effective weight loss. The answer lies not in high-profile commercial plans, but perhaps surprisingly, in a self-help group originating from a small town in Pennsylvania, the Trevose Behavior Modification Program. This program, functioning on the principles of mutual support and weekly weigh-ins, outshines its commercial counterparts with participants losing an average of 39 pounds over 2 years. A stark contrast to the modest success seen in programs like Weight Watchers. What sets the Trevose program apart is its staunch commitment to accountability. The stakes are high. Fail to meet weight loss objectives, and membership is revoked permanently. While this level of accountability may seem daunting, it underscores a critical aspect of successful weight loss: the importance of being answerable for one's progress. Herein lies a vital lesson. Elevate your weight loss journey by leveraging accountability and optimizing meal timing. Incorporating elements of accountability into your routine, whether through group engagement or individual practices, can significantly amplify weight loss outcomes. Evidence suggests that the camaraderie and shared experiences found in group settings yield better results than solitary dieting endeavors. Similarly, enlisting the support of a health coach can foster a sense of responsibility. Yet, personal accountability holds equal weight. The act of self-monitoring, particularly regular weigh-ins, emerges as a cornerstone habit for shedding pounds. A vast study on weight loss revealed that nearly 80% of successful participants engaged in weekly self-weighing, a practice that, when performed twice daily, yielded even more pronounced results. But accountability is just one piece of the puzzle. Another impactful strategy lies in the timing of food consumption, particularly the practice of front-loading your caloric intake towards the start of the day. This approach not only aligns with the old adage that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but is also backed by research indicating its effectiveness in supporting weight loss. Studies have demonstrated that individuals who consume the majority of their calories earlier in the day, opting for a lighter evening meal, experience significantly greater weight reduction. This phenomenon can be attributed to diet-induced thermogenesis, with our bodies utilizing more calories to digest food in the morning compared to the evening. By combining these strategic elements, a steadfast commitment to accountability and smart dietary timing, individuals can unlock a powerful formula for sustained weight loss. Remember, it's not only about the foods you choose, but also how you account for them, and when you consume them, that can set you on the path to success. Part 11. Hydrate and rest, the unsung heroes of weight loss. In the quest for effective weight loss strategies, two fundamental yet often overlooked components emerge: staying well hydrated and ensuring ample sleep. Amidst the myriad tips and tricks circulating in the world of dieting, the importance of water and sleep can sometimes get lost in the shuffle. Research has long debated the role of water consumption in weight management. While some studies link it to successful weight loss endeavors, others associate it with less effective attempts. However, a closer examination unveils a clear advantage to maintaining proper hydration. Beyond the simple trade-off, opting for water over calorie-laden sodas, hydration plays a crucial role in enhancing metabolic functions. Large-scale studies, such as those conducted by Harvard, reveal that individuals who maintain adequate hydration levels not only minimize fat accumulation, but also experience an uptick in fat burning, courtesy of reduced levels of the fat-promoting enzyme, angiotensin. Monitoring your hydration status is straightforward, with the ideal urine color being a light yellow, akin to straw. This simple measure can serve as a daily reminder to keep water intake in check. Parallel to the discussion on hydration is the critical influence of sleep on weight loss success. The pattern is clear: insufficient sleep leads to increased calorie consumption and, often, to the selection of less nutritious food options. In a stark comparison, individuals deprived of just a couple of hours of sleep were found to consume nearly 700 additional calories a day compared to their well-rested counterparts. Moreover, extending sleep from a scant 5.5 hours to a healthier span of 7 hours can significantly curb cravings for sugary and salty treats in mere weeks. The relationship between sleep and weight loss extends beyond dietary choices. Studies indicate that dieters who prioritize sleep not only see a reduction in weight, but crucially, the weight should predominantly consists of fat. In contrast, those scrimping on sleep might also see the scales tip, yet at the expense of lean body mass, a far from desirable outcome. In summary, as you navigate the path toward a healthier, lighter self, embracing a plant-based diet remains a cornerstone strategy. Yet, enriching this approach with adequate hydration and sufficient rest can amplify your efforts, underscoring the profound impact of these basic yet powerful wellness pillars. Remember, when it comes to weight loss, sometimes the simplest interventions, drinking plenty of water and securing a good night's sleep, can make a monumental difference. In the realm of health and fitness, it appears that if you snooze adequately, you indeed lose, in the best way possible. Final summary. The modern dietary landscape, dominated by processed foods high in fats, sugars, and calories, has steered us towards a global health crisis marked by excessive weight gain. Amidst the myriad of diet plans and weight loss fads, a simple, science-backed approach emerges as the beacon of hope for not only shedding excess weight, but maintaining a healthy lifestyle long-term: a plant-based diet. This holistic approach to eating is not about strict calorie counting or unsustainable dietary restrictions. Instead, it's about nurturing your body with the foods it was designed to thrive on. By favoring a diet that is low in fats, sugars, and overall calorie density, and rich in whole grains, legumes, fruits, and vegetables, we align our eating habits with our physiological needs. The secret to unlocking a healthier, more vibrant self doesn't lie in the latest diet trend, but in a return to basics, the abundant offerings of the earth. A plant-based diet, inherently low in calorie density and rich in nutrients, is not just a path to weight loss. It's a journey towards lasting health and wellness, perfectly tailored to what our bodies were truly made for. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.